What if the miracle you have been waiting for is not running late, but is simply waiting for you to release your grip so that it can finally arrive? Pause with that question for a moment. Do not analyze it just yet. Simply let it rest in your heart as you breathe deeply and allow yourself to be fully present in this sacred instant, because what you are about to hear could change forever the way you relate to time and to waiting and to uncertainty and to that part of you that has not yet learned how to trust that life is working in your favor, even when you cannot see it, even when everything appears still, even when the silence of the universe feels more like abandonment than like promise. There is a truth that Louise Hay repeated throughout her entire life with the quiet certainty of someone who had tested it in the fire of her own experience and found it unbreakable. And that truth is this: the universe has a perfect timing for everything. And your only work is not to force it, but to align with it. And when you do, when you truly surrender, not from defeat, but from faith, miracles do not merely become possible, they become inevitable. But we are getting ahead of ourselves. And before we arrive at that revelation, there is something important we need to explore together, something that most people never pause long enough to understand about the nature of miracles and about the hidden relationship between surrender and receiving, and between letting go and allowing in. So take another deep breath right now. Let your shoulders drop. Let the muscles of your face soften. Let your hands rest open in your lap as a gesture of openness, as a physical signal to your nervous system and to the universe that you are here and you are ready and you are willing to receive. Because that willingness is not a small thing. It is, in fact, everything. You came here today for a reason. Perhaps you are tired. Perhaps you have been carrying the weight of a situation that has not yet resolved itself, and the waiting has begun to feel unbearable. Perhaps you have been praying and hoping and doing everything you know how to do, and yet the answer has not come, and a quiet voice inside you has started to wonder whether it ever will. Perhaps you have been watching others receive what you so deeply long for, and the gap between where you are and where you want to be has started to feel not like a journey, but like a sentence. If any of that is true for you, then I want you to know something right now before we go any further. You are not forgotten. You are not passed over. You are not being punished. And the waiting is not a sign that what you desire is not meant for you. Sometimes the most profound act of love the universe can offer is the pause before the miracle, because in that pause, something in you is being prepared. Something in you is being deepened. Something in you is being made ready to receive what is coming in a way that your current self could not yet hold. And Louise Hay understood this with extraordinary clarity. She understood that life does not withhold from us out of cruelty, but out of wisdom, and that when we learn to trust the timing, we stop wasting the waiting, and we begin to use it as the sacred preparation it was always meant to be. Let us breathe together again. Inhale slowly and deeply through your nose, allowing the breath to fill your chest and your belly. Hold it gently for just a moment, for todo, and then release it through your mouth, slowly and completely, as if you were releasing with that breath every thought of not enough and not yet, and what if it never happens. Just let that go for now. You do not need to carry those thoughts into this conversation. They will wait for you if you decide you still want them after this, but for now, just breathe and be here and be open. The theme we are exploring today is one of the most tender and most misunderstood aspects of spiritual growth, and it is this: the relationship between surrender and miracles. Most of us were taught from a very young age that if you want something, you must work for it and fight for it and hold on tightly and never give up and keep pushing through every obstacle until you reach your goal. And whilst persistence and commitment are genuinely valuable qualities, there is another truth running beneath that teaching that almost nobody tells you, and it is this: there is a kind of holding on that is not strength but fear, and there is a kind of letting go that is not giving up, but actually the most powerful thing you can do. And learning to tell the difference between those two things is one of the great spiritual lessons of a human life. So if this message is already beginning to stir something in you, if you feel even the first quiet stirring of recognition in your heart, I want to gently invite you to subscribe to this channel if you have not yet done so. Here we create this kind of space regularly, a space of stillness and reflection and healing and spiritual wisdom inspired by teachers like Louise, who devoted their lives to reminding us of what we most deeply need to remember. By subscribing, you ensure that these messages continue to find you at the moments when you need them most, and your presence here truly matters to this community of souls who are learning together how to live with more trust and more peace and more love. Now, let us go a little deeper. Think for a moment about water. Imagine a river moving through a landscape, clear and unhurried and utterly certain of where it is going. The river does not panic when it encounters a rock. So it does not force itself through the rock, or rage against it, or collapse in despair. Because the rock is there, it simply moves around it. It finds the path of least resistance and it continues flowing, and eventually it reaches the sea, every single time. Not because it forced its way there, but because it surrendered to the intelligence of its own nature, because it trusted that if it kept flowing, something larger than itself was guiding it home. You are that river. Your desires and your dreams and the love you long for and the healing you seek are the sea, and the rocks you encounter, the delays and the disappointments, and the doors that have closed and the plans that have fallen apart are not obstacles designed to stop you. They are simply redirections offered by a universe that can see the landscape from above in a way that you, standing in the middle of the river, simply cannot. My Louise spent her life teaching this principle in 100 different ways, that life is always for us, that the universe is not a neutral force but a deeply intelligent and deeply loving one, and that when things do not go according to our plans, it is not because we have failed, but because something better than our plan is being prepared, and our grip on the original plan is the only thing standing in the way of it arriving. Let us pause here for a gentle affirmation. I can breathe in, and as you exhale, say inwardly or aloud. If you feel moved to, I trust the perfect timing of my life. Everything is unfolding exactly as it should. I am exactly where I need to be. Feel those words in your body. Notice whether they create ease or resistance. If there is resistance, that is completely natural, and it is actually important information. The resistance is the place where your healing lives, and the place where the old belief that the universe cannot be trusted is still holding on. And that old belief is not the truth. It is only a story that was given to you before you were old enough to question it. And today, with love and with gentleness, you can begin to choose a different story. Louise herself was a living demonstration of what becomes possible when you choose the new story. She arrived in this world into circumstances of profound hardship and spent the early decades of her life carrying wounds that many people carry silently for a lifetime. Wounds of abandonment and unworthiness and the deep unspoken fear that love is not safe and that life cannot be trusted. And then something shifted, not all at once, not dramatically, but through a slow and tender process of choosing again and again to meet herself with compassion instead of criticism, to speak to herself with love instead of contempt, to open her hands instead of clenching them. She discovered something that would eventually touch millions of lives around the world. She discovered that the universe responds to our inner state with extraordinary precision, that what we hold inside us as truth is what life reflects back to us as experience, and that the fastest way to change what you are experiencing on the outside is not to manipulate circumstances, but to heal what is happening on the inside. This is not magical thinking. This is one of the most consistently reported insights of virtually every genuine spiritual tradition and every serious student of consciousness across every culture and every era of human history. The outer world is a mirror of the inner world, and when the inner world shifts, the outer world follows. Not always immediately, not always in the way we expect, but always, eventually, perfectly. Now I want to try something with you. I want to guide you through a brief moment of inner stillness, because sometimes the most important thing is not to hear more words, but to experience in your own body what these words are pointing towards. So if you're in a safe place where you can relax, I invite you to gently close your eyes or soften your gaze downward. Take 3 slow, deep breaths, fuller than the ones you have been taking, really filling yourself up with each inhale and really emptying yourself with each exhale. And as you breathe, begin to imagine that you are standing at the edge of a vast and calm ocean at golden hour. That particular time of day when the light is warm and liquid and everything is bathed in a gentleness that makes the world feel safe. The water in front of you is still and clear and shimmering with that warm gold light. The air is soft and warm and carries the faint scent of salt and of something you cannot quite name, but that feels like home. You are completely alone here, but not lonely. You feel held. You feel seen. You feel as though this place was prepared specifically for you as a gift. And in your hands, you are holding something, a stone. And this stone represents everything you have been holding on to too tightly. The worry about the outcome, the desperate need for the situation to resolve itself in a particular way by a particular time, the fear that if you let go it will never come, the exhaustion of trying to control what is not yours to control. Feel the weight of that stone in your hands. Feel how tiring it has been to carry it. And now slowly and with complete trust, I invite you to walk to the water's edge, and with a full breath in and a full breath out, I invite you to release that stone into the ocean. While watch it enter the water, watch the gentle ripples move outward, and feel in your hands and in your chest and in your whole body the extraordinary lightness that comes when you let go. That lightness is not emptiness, it is space. It is the space that miracles need in order to arrive. You cannot fill a cup that is already full, and you cannot receive what you are gripping so tightly you have no hands left to hold it. The letting go is not the end of the dream. It is the beginning of the miracle. Come back gently now. Take a breath. And carry that feeling of lightness with you as we continue. This is the truth that the opening question of this video was pointing towards. The miracle is not delayed because it does not exist or because you do not deserve it. The miracle is waiting for the moment when you stop blocking it with fear and with force, and with the belief that you must earn it through suffering or control it through willpower. Miracles move on the frequency of trust. They arrive in the space that surrender creates. They come to open hands, not to clenched fists. And every spiritual teacher who has ever lived, who has gone deep enough into the nature of reality, has found this same truth waiting at the center. Louise Hay found it, Rumi found it, the mystics of every tradition found it, and now you are finding it too. Perhaps not for the first time, but perhaps for the first time in a way that feels truly real in your body and in your life. I want to share with you a story, a simple and human story that illustrates this principle in a way that I hope will stay with you. There was a woman who had been longing for years for a deep and loving romantic relationship. She had done everything she thought was right. She had worked on herself, she had been to therapy, she had read the books and done the journaling, and gone on the dates and shown up and tried, and year after year the relationship she longed for did not come. And the waiting had begun to harden into something painful, a quiet but persistent belief that she was somehow not enough, that love like this was available to others but not to her, that something was fundamentally broken in her that made her unworthy of the love she craved. And then one evening, sitting alone, she found herself completely exhausted, not physically but spiritually, exhausted from trying and hoping and being disappointed and trying again. And in that exhaustion, she did something she had never truly done before. She stopped. She stopped trying to figure it out. She stopped planning. She stopped rehearsing what she would say on the next date or imagining what the relationship would look like. She simply sat in the stillness and she said quietly to herself and to whatever was listening, "I release this. I do not know how to make it happen. I have done everything I know how to do. I surrender." And in that moment, she described later, something shifted in her chest. Something softened. Some knot she had been carrying for years simply loosened. She did not meet her partner that night. She did not meet him the next week. But something in her had changed. She had stopped relating to her own life from a place of desperate lack and begun relating from a place of quiet trust. She began to enjoy her own company. She began to invest in friendships and creative projects and experiences that brought her genuine joy without any agenda of what they might lead to. She became, as Louise Hay would say, a person who was available to love rather than a person who was hunting for it. And several months later, in the most ordinary and unexpected of circumstances, she met someone. And what they built together was more than she had imagined when she had been clenching her fists and forcing the outcome. Because what arrived when she let go was not just a relationship. It was a life that had first become beautiful on its own terms and then became more beautiful still when it was shared. Now let us layer in some affirmations, words you can carry with you from this video and return to whenever the weight of waiting feels too heavy. As I share these with you, I invite you to say them inwardly and to notice which ones land with a particular resonance, because those are the ones your soul most needs right now. I release control and I trust the perfect intelligence of the universe to guide my life. Everything I need arrives at exactly the right moment, in exactly the right way. I am worthy of miracles, and I open myself to receive them now. The universe is always working in my favor, even when I cannot see how. I let go of the outcome, and I embrace the journey with peace and with gratitude. I am safe. I am loved. I am held by a force greater than my fear. My surrender is not weakness. It is the most powerful act of faith I can offer. What is truly mine cannot pass me by. I trust the timing. I trust the process. I trust life. Sit with those for a moment. Breathe them in. Let them land somewhere soft and deep in you, rather than bouncing off the surface of the rational mind that wants to argue with them. The rational mind is a magnificent tool for many things, but it is not equipped to comprehend the logic of miracles. Miracles operate by a different set of rules than the ones the rational mind was trained to understand. Some part of the spiritual journey is learning to expand your trust beyond what your thinking mind can verify, to develop what Louise Hay called the inner knowing, the deep, quiet certainty that does not require proof, because it is not a conclusion arrived at through reasoning, but a direct experience of the truth felt in the body and recognized in the soul. There is also something important to understand about the relationship between our energy and the quality of our life experience, because this is not abstract or esoteric. It is something you can observe directly in your own life if you pay attention. Uh, think about the days when you wake up feeling genuinely at ease, when you feel rested and open and not particularly worried about anything, and notice how differently those days tend to unfold compared to the days when you wake up tense and braced for difficulty. On the easy days, you tend to encounter kindness in strangers and solutions to problems that felt intractable the day before, and opportunities that seem to appear from nowhere in a general sense that life is on your side. On the contracted days, the opposite tends to happen. Traffic is worse, conversations feel harder, things break down. The world seems to confirm whatever anxious story you woke up carrying. This is not coincidence, and it is not superstition. It is the practical reality of the fact that you are not separate from your environment, but are in constant, energetic dialogue with it. The quality of your inner state and the frequency you are broadcasting literally shapes the quality of your interactions and your experiences. This is what Louise Hay meant when she said that loving thoughts create loving experiences. She was not speaking poetically. She was describing a mechanism she had observed with precision in her own life and in the lives of countless others who worked with her over the decades. And when you take that seriously, when you stop treating your inner state as a side effect of your circumstances and start treating it as a cause of your circumstances, everything changes. Because suddenly you have far more power than you thought. Not the power to force outcomes, but the power to become the kind of person whose inner landscape naturally attracts the experiences they most deeply need and want. And this brings us to perhaps the most practically important teaching in Louise Hay's entire body of work. The teaching is this: the quality of your relationship with yourself is the foundation of the quality of every experience you have. Not some of your experiences, all of them. Your relationship with money, your relationship with your health, your relationship with romantic love, your relationship with your purpose, your relationship with the universe itself. All of these relationships are mirrors of the one primary relationship, the relationship you have with the being who lives inside your skin. When that relationship is one of criticism and judgment and impatience and unworthiness, the world tends to confirm those feelings. When that relationship becomes one of genuine love and acceptance and patience and trust, the world begins to soften and to open and to offer you things you did not believe were possible for you. And this is why the work of self-love is not selfishness, it is not navel-gazing, it is not spiritual bypassing, it is the most practical and the most powerful thing you can do if you genuinely want your life to change, because you cannot build a beautiful life on a foundation of self-rejection, and you cannot receive from the universe what you are simultaneously refusing to give yourself. I want to pause here and invite you to do something that might feel small but is actually profound. I want you to leave a comment below this video with one positive affirmation, just one, that you are choosing to carry with you from today. It does not need to be perfect. It does not need to sound spiritual or eloquent. It just needs to be true for you. A statement of something you are choosing to believe about yourself or about your life, even if part of you does not fully feel it yet. Because writing it down and placing it in this shared space has a power that keeping it only in your head does not. And your affirmation may be exactly the words someone else needed to read today. This community is built on that kind of generosity. The generosity of sharing what is healing in you in case it helps to heal someone else. Now let us talk about what it actually feels like to trust the universe's timing, because I think there is a lot of confusion about this, and that confusion can make the practice of surrender feel either impossible or like a form of passive resignation. Trusting the universe's timing does not mean doing nothing. It does not mean sitting still and waiting for life to deliver what you want to your door whilst you watch. It means doing your part with love and with commitment and with your full authentic effort, and then releasing your grip on the outcome. It means taking the steps that feel genuinely aligned and meaningful without attaching your peace to the result of those steps. It means being fully engaged in the process of your life without making your happiness conditional on it unfolding in a particular way on a particular schedule. Louise Hay described this beautifully when she talked about the difference between working towards something and grasping for it. Working towards something is energized by love and by genuine desire and by a quiet confidence that you are moving in the right direction. Grasping for something is energized by fear, by the terror that if it does not come you will not be okay, by the desperate, contracted energy of someone who does not believe the universe is fundamentally safe. And the universe responds to those two energies very differently. The first creates flow, the second creates friction. And learning to shift from grasping to working, from fear to faith, from clenching to opening, is the central practical skill of a spiritually conscious life. Let us try one more guided moment together. Close your eyes if you are able. Breathe. And imagine yourself standing in a garden at dawn, early morning light just beginning to warm the air. The kind of light that makes everything look both real and enchanted at the same time. In this garden you have planted seeds. Some time ago you planted them with great care and great love and great hope, and you visit this garden every day. And every day you look at the soil where the seeds are resting, and you feel a quiet mixture of hope and of impatience because you cannot yet see anything above the surface. The soil looks still and unchanged. And yet underneath it, in the darkness and the warmth and the moisture, something extraordinary is happening. The seed has cracked open. The first tiny tendril of root has reached down into the earth. The first shoot of life is moving upward towards the light with absolute certainty and absolute purpose, not in a hurry and not in doubt, simply moving as life moves, steadily and irresistibly and with perfect timing. You cannot see this from where you stand, but it is happening. It has been happening since the moment you planted the seed. The soil knows what to do. The seed knows what to do. The light knows what to do. Now, your only role right now is to keep the garden watered, to keep showing up with love, to trust the process that is already underway, even though it is invisible to you. And one morning, about perhaps sooner than you expect, you will come to the garden and you will see the first small green shoot emerging from the earth, reaching towards the sun. And you will know in that moment that it was never not coming. It was always coming. The timing was always perfect. The miracle was always in motion. You simply could not see it yet. That is where you are right now. The seed has been planted. The miracle is in motion. Trust the soil, trust the light, trust the timing. And keep your heart open. Come back now. Breathe. And carry with you that image of the garden and the seed and the light that is already on its way, because that image is not a metaphor. It is the truth of your situation. Whatever you have been waiting for and hoping for and praying for, if it is born of genuine love and genuine desire and genuine alignment with who you truly are, it is already in motion beneath the surface of what you can see. The universe has not forgotten you. It is preparing the ground. It is perfecting the conditions. It is aligning the people and the circumstances and the moments that need to align. And your surrender, your willingness to release the desperate grip and to trust the process, is not passive. It is the most active and the most powerful contribution you can make to the miracle that is already on its way. There are a few more affirmations I want to offer you before we close this journey together. These are affirmations you can return to any time the waiting feels heavy or the trust feels thin. Say them slowly. Let each one land fully before moving to the next. I am not behind. I'm not too late. I am on my own perfect path, and everything unfolds in divine timing. I release the need to understand how, and I choose to trust that it is already done. My peace does not depend on the outcome. My peace is my natural state, and I return to it now. I am a magnet for miracles. I am open, I am ready, I am grateful. The universe loves me and is always guiding me towards my highest good. I let go and I let life. I trust, I breathe, I receive. case, Louise Hay often said that the universe will always take care of you if you let it. Not sometimes, not under certain conditions, always. That word always is an enormous claim, and yet it is the claim that every genuine spiritual tradition makes at its deepest level. That beneath the surface of a world that can appear random and indifferent and even cruel, there is a current of love and of intelligence that is constantly moving in the direction of each being's growth and healing and fulfillment. And not in spite of the difficult experiences, but often through them, not by removing every obstacle, but by using every obstacle as a teacher, not by giving us only what we think we want, but by giving us what we most deeply need, even when those two things are not yet the same. And when you begin to experience your life through that lens, when you begin to read even the hard chapters as evidence of love rather than as evidence of abandonment, something profound shifts in the quality of your daily experience. The anxiety does not vanish overnight. The impatience does not evaporate in an instant. But gradually and then suddenly there is a softening. There is a growing capacity to meet whatever is happening with something closer to curiosity than to terror. And in that shift, in that opening, the miracles that were always waiting for precisely this frequency of trust begin to arrive. Before we close, I want to say something directly to you. Whatever you are carrying right now, whatever situation has been weighing on you, whatever prayer has felt unanswered, whatever door has remained closed, I want you to know with everything in me that your story is not over. The chapter you are in right now is not the final chapter. The silence you are experiencing is not the silence of a universe that has forgotten your name. It is the silence before the answer. It is the pause before the miracle. It is the darkness before the most beautiful dawn you have ever known. Keep going, keep your heart open, keep planting seeds and keep loving yourself through the waiting, and keep trusting that life is working in your favor in ways you cannot yet see. Because it always has been. And one day, not too far from now, you will look back at this exact moment, this moment of patience and of faith, and you will understand with perfect clarity why everything happened exactly as it did and exactly when it did. And you will be grateful, not despite the waiting, but for it. Because the waiting was the preparation, and the preparation was the love. And if this message has offered you something today, even just a single breath of peace or a single moment of renewed trust, I would love for you to share this video with someone in your life who might need it. You never know whose day or week or year might be transformed by hearing these words at the right moment. And if you have not yet subscribed to this channel, I want to warmly invite you to do so now. Every video we create here is made with the intention of offering exactly this kind of space, quiet and deep and full of the kind of wisdom that reminds you of what you already know at the level of the soul, but sometimes need help remembering at the level of the everyday. Your presence here matters, and you are always welcome. And leave a comment below and share one word that describes how you feel in this moment, or one affirmation you are choosing to carry with you from today, because your words create the energy of this space, and your participation makes this community more beautiful for everyone who arrives here. And now let us close as we began, in stillness and in breath. Take one final deep breath in, the deepest breath you have taken today, filling every corner of your lungs with fresh air and with the quiet certainty that you are held and that you are loved and that your miracles are on their way. Hold it for just a moment and release, slowly, completely. And in that release, feel yourself letting go of every last trace of urgency and of fear and of the belief that you have to force the life you want into existence. You do not. The universe knows your name. Right? It knows your heart. It knows what you need, and it knows when you are ready. And right now, in this moment of stillness and of openness, you are more ready than you have ever been. The miracle is coming. Trust the timing. Trust the love. Trust the life that is yours and that has always been yours and that is unfolding right now with more beauty and more grace and more perfect intelligence than your mind can comprehend. All is well. All is truly and always and eternally well.